In a town of roughly 10,000, there's a small but mighty community fighting for moms and babies.
They feel like they have no options, no choices.
Alicia Alderson and her husband Shane are at the forefront of that fight.
Lots of size 1 diapers.
Come late September, they'll become a family of 5.
I'm assuming you both are very excited.
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
But their birth plan and many others got thrown off after St. Alphonsus announced in late June it was closing the maternity unit in Baker City, Oregon. The hospital cited a drop in the number of deliveries over the last 4 years and critical staffing shortages.
The hospital broke the news all at the same time, both the nurses, doctors, and Oregon Health Authority, the county. So we all were told we had 30 days to try to figure out what we were going to do.
So Shane started working with state lawmakers. In addition to being a dad, he's also Baker County's commission chair. Their efforts already got St. Alphonsus to push the closing date 4 weeks to August 26th. Now they're pushing for another 6 months.
Well, we continue to try to find a permanent solution.
I'm told St. Alphonsus hasn't agreed to the 6-month goal. So if and when maternity services do close, people will have to drive elsewhere. Their 2 closest options, either La Grande, which is about 45 miles away, or Ontario, which is about 75.
One thing I never thought I'd have to consider was whether or not we'd have safe care and a safe delivery. And I just feel like being anywhere further than a few minutes from a hospital is just really scary.
That was crazy.
Local doula Shelley Payton worries most about the winter months. She's the only doula in the county, providing emotional and physical support to expectant moms.
There were many small, quick road closures last year, but there was over 30 large ones, like ones that took many hours before the roads opened again. Not every mom has that time.
Or money.
I suspect that in some cases it will lead to them seeking out less prenatal care because they can't take the time off work or afford the gas money to drive over there.
Community members we interviewed for this story say St. Alphonsus never should have made this decision and believe the hospital isn't being fully transparent.
I think that there's a financial aspect to it that they haven't spoken about.
One of the reasons we know is that it's not local only to St. Alphonsus or only to Baker City.
Kevin Mealy works for the Oregon Nurses Association.
There's been a national trend of hospitals closing birth centers, in part because they aren't money earners.
When new nurses come in and want to be OB nurses, they need a certain amount of training, and it's very difficult for them to get that training in Baker with our low birth numbers. But birth numbers are declining all across the country, and OB has never been a moneymaker, so that needs to not matter.
Does this decision put moms and babies in danger?
I truly believe that it does, yes.
You're going to lose not just the place where the babies are delivered and cared for immediately before and after birth, you're going to lose those other providers who provide essential birth care before and after birth as well.
I asked St. Alphonsus multiple times for an interview. Each time, a spokesperson said they don't have any additional comments. If Baker City can't keep its moms and babies safe, Peyton and Alicia say their town will change completely.
Why would young families want to move here if they plan to have more children?
I think it could literally and figuratively kill our community as far as growth, the care that we need.
Even with all the unknowns and fears, Alicia and Shane say they won't stop fighting for their family.
No, not at all.
And their beloved city.
It's about the public safety and livability of our communities.
An unfinished sewer line project in Caldwell.
We can't even have people come to our house.
That was how the story started on Tuesday when I first talked to Bailey Amix.
They closed down the whole road, and then one day, they just all left. The construction company and everybody, they picked up all their tools and they just left it.
Amix and other neighbors say for more than 6 months, Albany Street was filled with giant potholes, leftover construction equipment, and torn up concrete. Problems they blamed the city for,
And I feel like if it's the city who came in and said this project was okay to go, it should be their responsibility to finish it.
On Tuesday, I also talked to Public Works Director Rob McDonald.
It's a 24-inch sewer line that is really it'll be the backbone of our downtown sewer system.
McDonald admits the project stopped unexpectedly. City leadership believed the contractor went out of business and said they couldn't do much to help.
So in a situation like this, where if they don't finish the project or they walk away, then the insurance company is obligated to finish the project on their behalf. And so we're in a holding pattern right now.
But on Thursday, hours before my story was set to air, the road went from this to this. A city spokesperson told me they leveled the road because KTVB looked into the issue. Amix doesn't know how to feel about the progress.
When it was just like us citizens calling and being like, our road is a disaster, and them not giving us answers was semi-disappointing that it took that much push for them to do it.
The city spokesperson says this is just a temporary fix. The road will most likely have to get torn up again once the project starts back up.
I just hope communication is really a key, and that the city sticks to what they've started.
In the dark corners of our communities,
it's happening everywhere.
And in plain sight.
It looks like everyday life. It looks like everything that we are all doing.
Our neighbors are being forced into modern slavery.
Most of them are afraid to say anything. We see in Nampa, Caldwell, Meridian, basically anywhere there's a motel, you can bet that there's probably been someone trafficked there.
Maya Bray knows the depths of human trafficking firsthand. Human trafficking happens when someone uses force, fraud, or coercion to get another person to do work or have sex. And it impacts people from all walks of life.
He seemed to be a really good friend at the time. He said and did everything the right way.
KTVB shadowed Bray's face and disguised her voice to help protect her identity. Bray says she met her ex-boyfriend about 5 years ago. But the man Bray trusted most shattered that trust when he began trafficking her 4 months into their relationship.
It would start with a fight of, well, you're not doing your part to get money to help take care of us. I was like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm trying to get a job. And he's like, well, that's not going to make it. You've got to do something now. And he goes, the best way for you to do that is to have sex with somebody.
Bray is not alone. Recent Idaho State Police data shows law enforcement agencies reported 36 human trafficking offenses in Idaho in 2022, a 414% increase from the previous year.
Most organizations aren't reporting it.
Still, many advocates, like Idaho Anti-Trafficking Coalition Executive Director Jennifer Zielinski, say it's a much bigger problem than those numbers portray.
We have an entire population that is under-identified, under-reported, and funneling through our systems punitively.
More than 100 Idaho law enforcement agencies sent in data for ISP's 2022 crime report. But that report shows very few agencies tracked human trafficking. The Nampa Police Department accounted for 26 of the 36 reported offenses. In contrast, there was only one reported case in Ada County.
Comparatively, it should be a lot higher just based on population alone.
Nampa PD Detective Chad Benson
It's showing up in all different areas.
Says other agencies may not track human trafficking because it happens at the same time as other crimes and can be hard for officers to identify.
We need to understand what it is and what it looks like in order to see that, yes, this is a drug offense and this person maybe is in possession of some kind of a narcotic substance, but is there also more to what's going on?
Do you think other agencies, it's a matter of them not wanting to do that, or them just simply not being aware that it is as big of a problem as it is?
I think it's more of the not maybe being aware or not recognizing that it is happening along with the other crimes that they're already seeing.
Bray says when she was trafficked, she and her trafficker were charged with drug crimes.
I was arrested with the trafficker, and it was his drugs on me. He made me carry. And when I told the officer what had happened, the officer wouldn't believe me. He thought that I was just a prostitute. that had a drug problem.
That's why the Idaho Anti-Trafficking Coalition says the state needs to prioritize combating human trafficking.
It starts there so that we can actually and effectively advocate for a reallocation of funding that will support law enforcement training and education, that will actually implement systemic change and frameworks.
Beyond that, Zielinski says lawmakers should build a centralized, confidential database for agencies and organizations working directly with victims. She and Detective Benson also want lawmakers to change state codes around human trafficking so victims are no longer identified as prostitutes. They say doing so would help hold the right people accountable.
If you view the individual from the lens of prostitution, then you are saying that that person is choosing to do it and nobody is forcing that.
It's not just on lawmakers and law enforcement. Advocates say it's on everyone throughout our community to bring the issue out of the darkness.
Some people know about it and put their head in the sand about the whole situation, that a lot of ground has been covered with trying to start the training throughout the community, but I think we have a long ways to go.
Some common signs of human trafficking include big age gaps between a guy and a girl, especially if it's obvious that they're not related. Another sign is people being dressed inappropriately for the weather or situation that they're in. If you are being trafficked or know of somebody being trafficked, call a crisis hotline. The number for the National Human Trafficking Hotline is right here on your screen. We also have other resources linked on our website, ktvb.com.